Interest rates are up another 0.25% this week. Now, after the nearly 0.5% increase from the previous week, we are up 0.75% just in the last couple of weeks. Now, it is super important that your buyers are staying in contact with their lender and having the lender update them with scenarios so that they know what their payment is going to be for any offers that they're making right now. For example, on a $600,000 loan amount, a 0.75% rate increase results in a payment increase of about $300 per month. Now, that could affect somebody's budget. It also can affect their maximum purchase price. So make sure that your lenders are staying in contact with your buyers. Now, this all leads to a discussion on our real estate market. Now, we have an interesting market right now because we still have extremely low inventory levels relative to where they typically would be pre-COVID. But with interest rates elevated, we have some affordability problems. We have plenty of buyers that want to buy, but being able to actually buy something in California is not an easy prospect. A buyer with a low down payment should probably, at least maybe, be looking for homes that have been sitting on the market for longer, maybe 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. They should also have a really good idea of what their numbers are so that they know ahead of time if they're going to need to have the seller pay closing costs on their behalf. Now, there also could be strategies where there's a lender credit to offset some of the needed closing cost credit, which can make their offer a little more appealing to a seller. It just depends on what the strategy is. Now, a buyer also, a first-time buyer, a buyer with a low down payment maybe should be looking at homes that are not perfect move-in condition homes. That's the home they love to be in, but it may not be the reality based on where the market is right now. They should also really be aware of what the expectations are for mortgage rates over the next 12 months or even over the next 6 months. It can actually be a fairly good strategy for a buyer to try to buy a property right now while interest rates are fairly elevated, because there are some buyers that are out of the market because they just can't afford it, or buyers that are sitting on the sidelines because they want to wait for interest rates to come down. But when interest rates come down, there's going to be so much competition that they're going to have a hard time ever getting an offer accepted. A buyer that buys today, especially a low down payment buyer, is going to have the opportunity to refinance when rates go down. And I like to say when, but I probably should say if, because we never know for sure what's going to happen. But mortgage rates tend to follow inflation. Inflation has been decreasing for the last 5 months. The overall trend for mortgage rates is for interest rates to go lower. And when you look at where interest rates are expected to go, which is closer to the 5% range compared to where they are now, then a refinance will be something that really will lower somebody's payment. So we can look at the numbers so they can get an idea of maybe where the interest rate could be and what that would do to their payment once they're already in the house right now. It's also important to understand that for an FHA or VA buyer, when the refinance happens down the line, there is no appraisal that's needed. Now, this is always something that a lot of buyers are concerned about, or even an agent will bring up, is you can't really be saying for sure there's going to be a refinance because property values could be lower. We don't know exactly where they're going to be. But VA, FHA, no appraisal needed on FHA or VA streamlined refinance. Matter of fact, there's not even income documentation that's required to do one of those refinances. Understanding that interest rates are expected to improve could actually get a buyer who is sitting on the fence right now to get off the fence and start making competitive offers today. If you have a buyer who is interested in seeing the numbers and how they're going to fit into their budget, then let me know. I'll put together a total cost analysis or a purchase analysis or even a move-up analysis if you've got somebody who's looking to sell their house and buy another home. This is a good time to take a look at the numbers and just at least have a good grasp on what the numbers are and how it fits into their budget. I'll be available all weekend. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you next week.